Hello? Let's find out. It says I am. Let's find out. Yes, I am. There was no background music there. Let me do that. There we go. Bit of background music there. Lovely. Fantastic. Hello. Welcome to the stream. You're watching Team TripleJump on Twitch right now with me, Tiny P. It's me. Your boy TP. View whips. Master Dactyl immediately subscribing within 1 minute of the stream. Master Dactyl says, yay, Golden Billy. Fantastic news. Congratulations, and thank you for being subscribed for 6 months, Master Dactyl. Hello everyone. You're all here in the chat. I see ya. Jammy K, Jam Jar, Poison Apple a Day, Josky, Uncle Dunkles, The Far Wall, Dead-Eye Duck, Poison Apple a Day, I've already said, Mr. Black, Paper Sam, Lob Rotovich is here doing some modding. I don't know if Cecil Prumps is here yet, or if she will be joining us. She works hard, that Cecil Prumps, in an actual job. Don't we all? But some of us can't be here for live streams all the time. GY Goliath subscribed, been subscribed for 3 months, currently on a 3-month streak. So glad I found you guys during this time. Well, we're glad you found us too, GY Goliath. You've been very supportive of the channel, gifting all kinds of subs and things to people. It's been lovely. So thank you very much, GY Goliath, and for subscribing. Lord Rotovich says, not everyone can be a lazy student like me. Hey, we were all lazy students once, so don't worry about that at all. It's great to have you. Good. What I will do is quickly put a tweet out to let the world know that I'm live, and then we can do some Spyro. We're here to play some Spyro today, PS1 version. MDes just subscribed. I will read the message in just a minute. I am live with Spyro right now. Twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. Tweet that out. Retweet it from TripleJump. And there we go. So we've got oh, whoops, that was me. So we're playing some Spyro today.
Hello Peter, how are you? Excited to see you streaming the original Spyro. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, TP.
Thank you, Stephen. And MDes, I will address those in just a moment. We're playing Spyro today, the PS1 version, rather than Reignited Trilogy, which I have actually played PS1 Spyro before as well on one of the channels that I've worked on in the past 4 or 5 years. It's very hard to keep track, but in any case, it's certainly been a while since I played the original Spyro on any streams or videos, and I probably played, I think I've played Reignited on TripleJump actually, but in any case, doesn't matter. We're going to play some old Spyro. It's nice, it's nostalgic, but strangely enough, halfway through today's stream at 4 PM, there's going to be a live event where Crash 4 is officially revealed. It's already been leaked, now there's going to be some actual gameplay. Well, I don't know if there's gameplay shown, but I'm sure there will be. So that's very exciting. I'm really, really excited for that. Hoping that they don't completely just break the formula and go, hey, welcome to the new open world Crash game, or the Crash game with non-linear levels. I think if they're going to do an official Crash 4, which is what it seems to be, then what they need to do is make sure it's the formula we know and love, mostly on foot platforming with the occasional bit of vehicular stuff or riding animals or whatever, but corridors either away from the camera or towards the camera, or bit of 2.5D side scrolling as well, so hopefully they won't deviate too much. I was talking about this on Slack with the guys at work today. They've had a lot of warning over the past 10 years of this is what happens to Crash when you deviate. Wrath of Cortex was loosely still within the template that we knew and loved, and that was the beginning of it going out, but the moment they started doing strange things with it and having hub worlds and things like that, it was just not right. Not right. In any case, that's me talking about Crash in the Spyro stream, so there we go. Very excited to watch that as soon as the stream is done. Hopefully most of you will be happy to stick around to the end of the stream, and then we can all just go off and watch it after the fact later anyway.
Yeah.
But if you have to go,
Peeps
you
time.
go.
He 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 ho 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 hoo. Hi 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 he.
Poison Apple of the Day, thank you for the bits. Now, I've got a lot of things to catch up on because I went down a whole Crash rabbit hole. Des, thank you for subscribing. You're on a 3-month streak now. It's wonderful to have you with us too. Lovely. Oh, a little virtual hug emote there in your message. How wonderful. Then we had Stephen Scodes, who gave some bits, 100 bits, asked how I am. I'm very good, thank you, Stephen. I did have a very good weekend as well.
As long as Crash doesn't have his weird southern accent from Skylanders, he'll be pretty excited. Also excited to watch some Spyro.
I hope Crash doesn't have any accent at all. I hope as well they've not now reinvented their engine again. I hope they're or engine, as a Crash nerd might say. I hope they pretty much just used for the most part used the Insane Trilogy engine, just gone with that, because that worked. I know there were some slippy hitboxes and stuff, but at least if they're building everything, they're specifically designing levels based around that engine, then that'll be good. But again, if they've every time you change things up like that, you run the risk. So in some ways they need to keep it very familiar, I think. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. So thank you, Stephen, for the bits. Then we had Ott Marand, I think. They've been subscribed for 3 months. Thank you very much. Further down, 5 emotes were shared when GY Goliath gifted 3 more tier 1 subs to the community, and they have gifted 58 now to the channel. And assuming they cost the same as a regular sub, that's a whole lot of cash there from GY Goliath over the past couple of months. So thank you very much. Oh no, my chat just completely reset. Oh, what? How's that happened? It's just completely... Oh, I'm going to have to load up the flipping thing now to look at all those subs. That happened once before when I was streaming. I use the chat as basically a way of keeping track of what I have and haven't said. But, okay, so there's the donations tab. And I'm not going to know if some of these are gifted, actually, because that isn't available in the back end of Streamlabs, where I can look at new donors.
I hope that they make it slightly less of a those chuffing game, aka those chuffing bridge levels, those chuffing spinning platforms, those chuffing levels where you're running towards the camera and can only see 3 inches in front of you.
Odie Lazarus, it sounds like you should maybe just not be playing Crash.
Bits for the tiny purple dragon. Bits for the tiny peeper. Happy Monday TP and clan.
So, I did Des, I did Ott Marand, so then it was Uncle Dunkles, Robo-Dog.
More bits for the lovely TP and Walrus clan.
Blue Nose Gamer 91, Ant Jadu, N Barlam, and Sam Bishop all subscribed. Some of those will have been gifted by GY Goliath. They may have been gifted by other people as well. I can't see that, unfortunately, because it's all gone.
Haven't had the chance to join a Tiny Peter stream for a while. First one back, and it's
lovely.
Spyro. Hope all's well, Squire Hart.
Certainly is. So thank you to all those people who subscribed, / thank you to the people who bought subscriptions for those people. Sam Bishop subscribed via Twitch Prime, I see that one. And Hutchmaster1 just subscribed. Can't wait for some Hot Spyro action. If there were any bits pre-Sam Bishop's subscription, effectively, I can't see him, which is a shame.
Knock knock, who's there interrupting Walrus clan? He 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 he.
And I don't think they're even available on the back end. Oh, cheers, they are. I think they are. Okay, good, I found them. So, I got Stephen Scodes', then Shard... Oh no, that was... No.
Blood for the Blood God. Wait, no blips, sorry.
I got Poison Apple a Day's long interruption. Then Mr. Black said, As long as Crash doesn't have his weird southern accent, we got that one. Odie Lazarus didn't want all the Crash.
My relationship with Crash is the same as the popular kids at school. Yeah, they beat me up.
Shader Fox.
But I'm desperate to be their best friend.
Gave bits for the Tiny Dragon. Stephen Scodes gave more bits for the lovely TP and Walrus Clan. Schadenfreude. Haven't had a chance to join. Oh, I'm all up to speed now. Excellent. Haven't had a chance to join. Nice to have you with us, Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
I have never owned a Spyro game, but have had great fun watching you play a game you love.
Good.
TP. That said, I am led to believe Skylanders is the best game with the little purple dragon and Moggy hides.
It's true. Moggy truth. You're all going crazy. That hype train is really climbing. We're on the way to completing level 3. So Schadenfreude, Master Dactyl, The Firewall, and OD Lazarus, thank you all for your bits, for your interruptions, and Blood for the Blood God from The Firewall there. And my relationship with Crash is the same as popular kids at school. They beat me up, but I'm desperate to be their best friend, says OD Lazarus. Yeah, fair enough. So, something that, if you've been watching Ben's streams... In fact, I don't know if Ben was candid about this, or if it was just... I'm sure he probably did make it clear, but something that we have done is mute certain words from the chat, and hopefully from the actual donations as well, because we're a bit concerned about people doing horrible spoilery things for a recent game that came out. So you may find that certain messages won't go through. I think we might be able to approve them. They'll come up, they'll be visible to me in the mods, and if it's not a spoiler for a game that we don't want spoiled, we'll be able to approve your message. But just keep in mind that I don't even want to necessarily say which words those are, but anyway, yeah. So hopefully no one will be a bit of a dick and do a dick move. And I think people also can't talk in the chat unless they've been following us for a while now. That's a new thing. So strangers can't march in here and do mean things. Good. So let me just do some subscriptions, and then I'm pretty much done. Hutchmaster1 subscribed via Twitch Prime for 2 months, and currently on a 1-month streak. Well, nice to have you back, Hutchmaster. We've got some Pride blips today. Excellent. Very, very good. I'm calling it now Crash 4 as an online-only hero FPS, says Rory Siegel. Well, yeah, calling it Crash 4 would definitely be an apt title for a complete deviation from the formula. Let's see. We'll see how it goes, Rory Siegel. You might be right. Cecil Prumps is here. Excellent. Hello, Cecil. Here to mod ya. Let's see. Dead Eye Duck's never owned a Spyro game, but excited to watch this one. Thanks for the bits. Nebulous Waters subscribed via Twitch Prime. 12 months! Congratulations to you for a year, Nebulous Waters. Thank you for supporting us for that long. That's great. Not many people have done that. Skeggy's Dar subscribed via Twitch Prime. They've subscribed for 4 months. Archers Be Cray, did I get your email? Looking forward to hearing back from you and Ben. Not that I noticed, but I may have to, I don't know, check my spam or something. Sometimes if it has links in, and it's from someone that my inbox doesn't recognise, Anyway, I'll have a look for that. Apuculus, subscribe via Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. And I think I've done it. I think, despite my chat completely refreshing, think I hit everything there. So thank you to everyone who's donated, cheered, subscribed so far in these 14 minutes. I'd say it's high time we played a bit of the Spyrops. So I'm going to launch the game. I'm going to close all that. Good. Move my chat over there. And play Spyro. Look at that. Hey, look at us. Move my chair down a bit. Ooh. Creak. It's nice playing these games on the emulator, isn't it? They're so crisp. Used to play this in a CRT back in the day. Couldn't tell one thing from another. I could. Oh, hello, game. Why are you not accepting my controller inputs? There we go. Bim bim, bim bim bim. Where's the onesie? Says Trojan fan. I don't have it with me, unfortunately. I left it back in Newcastle when I evacuated during the pandemic. There we go. At least it's not German, am I right? Yeah, it could be worse. Apparently, modern games look much better on CRT than an LCD. Modern games? Did he really? That's interesting.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or
Yeah.
is it...
Absolutely no rush, but been talking to Adam P and he provided the contact for you and Ben for a project Team to 5 Spyro Peter.
What about
5
this
Spyro
nasty Gnort character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature. Vampire. He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. Ugly? That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
Looks like I got some things to do. M. Higdon, hello. Crystal Rose says Digital Foundry did a report on it, I think. The CRT thing, is that? God, my chair's creaky today. Jeez. Oh, I've clicked out the window again now. There we go. Oh, it's like coming home. Look at that sky. Look at that. It's nice, isn't it? I love the skyboxes in this game. Got the castle. It's got no door on it now. Those of you who've played the Reignited trilogy, there's a big door on this. Did a lot of that. They've added... oh, in fact, I want to stick the camera on active mode. There we go. That's a Buick there from Songbirds Chorus, who just subscribed. Thank you so much. Move my alerts box around a little bit. About there, maybe. That should be okay. I think it got lost in the wash. TP, thoughts on the Roo and Penguin in a later Spyro game? Oh yeah. Sheila and no, I really don't like Spyro 3. Well, I don't know. That's a very strong thing. I don't really not like Spyro 3, but I would have much preferred not having to play as any of the extra characters at all. Even Sparks. Didn't like Sparks levels. Here we go. First dragon. So, all the dragons have been trapped in crystal. By Nasty Nork.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Tricorn wearing kite is here. They've subscribed for 16 months. That's an enormously long time to have been subscribed for us. Thank you so much. God, the frame rate's not very good on this game. Maybe I'm just used to playing Reignited. Someone just asked me who my favourite secondary character is. Also, who was Spyro originally voiced by? Well, from Spyro 2 onwards, he was voiced by Tom Kenny of SpongeBob fame. But in this game, he's voiced by... I only know him as the Taco Bell dog, or Chihuahua. God, I'm getting used to... It's been a while since I've played original Spyro. I'm a bit muscle memoried to Reignited here, I think. There we go. Favourite secondary character in Spyro? I mean... Moneybags is pretty funny, I guess. Ripto is pretty cool. I like Nasty Nork. I don't know. I like the big Norks with fangs. There's various ones, particularly here in the artisan levels. We'll see a few of those around. I love the design. Sort of, they almost look a bit cute. Actually looks... I'm looking over at my OBS, our streaming software. And the game's frame rate looks better in that than my full screen window for some reason. It just feels a bit choppy as it is, but anyway, never mind.
Where Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the Dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Oh, I will, Delvin. Delvin. What? I've already forgotten. Cool. TP likes big Norks, says Dead-Eye Duck. Yeah, I do. Love him. So we've got Sparks the Dragonfly following us around. He is our friend. He's currently full gold colour, but if he gets hit too many times, his colour will change. And he's basically just our health indicator. But he will also, if you watch, he will actually reach out and grab gems for me.
KTP loving the Spyro 1. Play the voices are nostalgia aplenty.
They certainly are, Manurk. Thank you for the bits. So if you watch Sparks, he will grab this gem for me, and I won't have to touch it myself. He'll just pull it towards me. If you get hit too many times, Sparks will disappear, and you have to eat some butterflies, find some butterflies. But if I get rid of Sparks now, just to show you, for anyone who's not played this game before. So he's gone now, you see. And if I now find a gem to collect, some in this maze here, or there's some here. Now, if I get real close to this gem, Sparks doesn't reach out and grab it for me. I have to physically walk up and touch it, which can actually see, like there.
Are you excited for the new Ratchet and Clank game? P.S. I think I prefer Spyro 1 over Spyro 1 Reignited.
Oh, I certainly do. I mean, Reignited, I was really glad when the Reignited trilogy came out, and I think they did a good job, but this will always be special to me. As you can... I've moved my camera. I looked over there then. I've moved my camera since the last stream. As you can discover in a video that I did recently on the channel, what Spyro the Dragon means to me, all about this game. So there we go. It actually makes a lot of difference. If you lose Sparks like that, it can really slow you down. Because these levels are mostly designed to be... you can kind of charge through them, really. But if you lose Sparks, and you're having to pixel perfect go and touch the gems, it can be a real inconvenience. It can be a real first world problem, as they say. So in the opening cutscene there, we saw Nasty Nork. Oh, here we go. Freeze all these dragons in crystal.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
Oh, that. And, I'll answer the question about Ratchet in a moment, actually. I didn't answer that. I was mid-flow. But Nasty Nork saw the dragons bad-mouthing him on the TV. So he got real mad and froze them all. But Spyro's too small, so he didn't get him. So it's up to Spyro to free every dragon now. And I'm also collecting gems, because we're going to need them later on. Good. So, we've had a B-whip there from Chernid. Oh, Lobrotovich has linked there to the Spyro video I did. Yeah, maybe check it out after the stream. But you do what you feel is right. More like Spyro the Greaton. Oh, great! That's a really good pun there. I like that one. And someone asked me, am I excited for...
As a bigger fan of Spyro 2, I thought the Reignited trilogy did a great job on one, but seemed to miss a lot of the small details in the others.
They definitely put a lot more work into Spyro 1 and Reignited trilogy for sure. It was Archers Be Cray who gave the 100 blips and asked about the Ratchet game. I've not played a Ratchet game since the first one, and I didn't even play the remake of it that came out fairly recently, or within the last year or so. But seeing the sort of portal-y mechanics, the kind of reality tearing stuff in that new one, I am really intrigued by that, and it's just exciting. I think I did say in our coverage of the PlayStation event that what really excites me is to be playing this genre where you literally are hopping up little stone pillars like this and jumping around, 3D platformer, mascot-style platformers, but playing that with, you know, the kind of budget and the kind of ambition as like something like an Uncharted game. That's what that felt like. Just the way he was tumbling through stuff in a very cinematic, scripted way. That's really exciting because you didn't really used to have so much of that in games like this. So it's a bit of a game changer. We'll go to Stonehill first. So here we go. TP, you should play a Ratchet game on stream, says Rory Siegel. Maybe I will. Maybe I will, or maybe I won't. What I'm thinking at the moment. Oh god, I just love this game so much. It's so nice, so peaceful. Hello, come get me. I used to think these guys were pigs for some reason. Yellow pigs with horns. I don't know why. They're blatantly sheep. I guess I thought it looked like they had sort of skin rather than wool. I think that's probably what did it. Because, you know, pigs have... I mean, I know they've got a little bit of fur, but it is more like just sort of fuzzy skin. And I think that's why, but... yeah, my current idea... Oh, hello? Oh, wow, well that was fun, wasn't it? The whole game just crashed. Gee. What was that? F in the chat for Spyro, everyone. I've never had the emulator crash on me like that. It did seem to be having a bit of a hard time, certainly, for me, as far as I could tell. So I'm just going to see if there's any options I can change. Give Rules Boss a ring, yeah. Maybe I'll stick on native PSX resolution for that. It should be okay though. I don't really know why it did that. It's a shame though, because I'm going to have to restart all over again. Stretching mode. What about... Is there a whole... Can I not just do a whole preset to like medium rather than have to mess with individual... I'll stick it on native PSX resolution and see if that helps. I don't know if it was a... Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's fast or nice. I'll stick it on fast. Okay. Let's just see how this looks.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Oh, it's real small now. Well, it's going to be very stretched. Let's just see how this looks. Because this is now native... Does that look alright? That looks alright, doesn't it? Yeah? That just looks normal, doesn't it? But for me, the window's now tiny on my monitor, but I'm happy to play on a small window. Okay, well, fortunately, I can now just blast through that first bit because I'm an MLG Pro King Spyro Lord. The frame rate for me now looks way higher than it was, which is good. I think it was just struggling before for some reason. But I've never ever had that before. Hello, game. Never had the emulator crash on me. Least of all with Spyro. Spyro speedrun. Ready to see how fast I can clear the artisan home. I've never done a speedrun in this game. Something I touch on in that. I can't skip this dragon.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
This dragon cannot be skipped.
Then find the balloonist.
Yeah, never been tempted to speedrun Spyro because I love it too much, and I don't want it to become.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
I don't want it to become mechanical. I don't want to learn my way around this game. I mean, I know my way around this game roughly.
Good seeing you in your happy place with the purple dragon TP.
Thank you very much, Like a Glove. It is my happy place. Active mode just means the camera updates. It swings around and centers itself a lot more.
Hello there, Peter. Hope you're doing well. What are your thoughts on Toys for Bob doing the new Crash game instead of Vicarious Visions?
Well, I mean, Toys for Bob did a good job with at least the first Spyro game in the in the Reignited trilogy, because that's the one they spent the most time on, which is fine. You know, they're not going to be spending time on 3 Crash games at once, so I think they're capable. Spyro 3 was the worst in the Reignited trilogy, I think, in terms of glitches and things like that, because a lot of it had been farmed out to another studio, which is a shame, and it was way more unstable. But that worked for me, because Spyro 1's my favourite of the trilogy anyway, so it was so nice to see that much love and care and attention go into it. So, like, today, on today's stream, the second level we're going to be going to after we've done Stone Hill, where the game just crashed, is Dark Hollow, which is one of my favourite levels in the whole game. And it's this little sort of cubby, it's like a landscaped garden. And it's all dark and peaceful, and there we go, skip that. And it really did used to just be like a landscape garden without much purpose or function, or just sort of ambiguous bits of buildings and stuff. But in Reignited trilogy, they turned it into a library, and they covered the place with books and stuff, and that was really cool. That they added a load of function and context and made it a more believable world. Gave everything a purpose. You know, that was a really nice touch, I thought. Did a similar thing with several levels, really. Good. So get in the maze. Yeah, you guys help yourselves to vol-au-vents while I. I'm no speedrunner, but we're getting there. Any gems down here? Yeah. Let's just see if I can save state. Can I? Is that? Oh no. Yeah. Okay, I can. That's good. I might just do that between levels, just preemptively, in case it crashes again. But we should be okay, I hope. How odd. I don't know why I'm flaming those chests, actually, because if you charge through them, the gem will immediately home into you.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the Dragon Mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
Land? That's the official in-game term for the levels. People call them realms in the fandom. It's not the official term, I'm afraid, everyone. Who the hell do you think you are? Oh no, I didn't complete the level. Just assumed I had done. But of course, when you assume, make an ass of you and me. I can't go marching through Stone Hill with 94 gems to my name. God. Oh, 96. Okay. These guys now, because I've killed them once, they no longer drop a gem. They drop a... Again, I don't know if I think the official term in this game is orb, which is weird because there are orbs in the next game, which are nothing like that. Oh yeah, I thought it might be these ones. Oh, and we also didn't get this fella. Bring back Adam, such a noob. Yeah. Right, there we go. So, let's fly to Stone Hill. Save the game. And see if it plops itself. Glad we're back on the 100% run grind, says Lobrotovich. This will be a 100% run, for sure. Because, in fact, you can't open the last level in the game until you get 100%. And then by completing the last level in the game, you end up with 120% completion, which is a bit of a strange thing, but oh god, he didn't turn around as quickly as he does in Reignited. God, I never thought this would happen. I never thought I'd live to see the day where my muscle memory would be more attuned to the remake It's just been a long time since I played this version. But it's still my favourite. There's a little fly buzzing around in this room. Little tiny guy. Oh, can I do it? Did I do it? Oh, I got them all. Look at that. Skills. You guys can just donate £100 for that, if you like. It's up to you.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
I like how a lot of the dragons are English, British English. You're saving your progress. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro. I just think that for some reason I thought this guy down here was Spyro's dad. That was just my headcanon. Gavin.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
There are no... Oh, hang on now. Is this right? There are... No, it's not actually right. I was going to say there are no other purple dragons in this entire game. That's not true, but I don't think... Oh, we're going to put myself to the test here. I don't think there are any purple artisan dragons, which is the world that Spyro is from. There's six dragon homeworlds in this game. Well, one of them is Nasty's world, but there's 6 worlds in this game, all with different professions of dragons in them. And the artisan world that we're in right now is where all the artisans live, surprisingly. Hohenheim subscribed via Twitch Prime. They've been subscribed for 14 months. That's a really long time. JSonic13 as well. 4 months. 4 months just in time for Crash 4. Thank you, JSonic13 and Hohenheim for your subscriptions, especially if you've been with us for 14 months. Gavin sounds like a dad, TBH, says Josh Sedgey. He does, doesn't he? Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. He sort of gives him advice. Tells him how to be a man or woman. Spyro's got a bit of an issue with old men or women.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
He doesn't like old people reminiscing. TP seems a lot less angry at Spyro than Adam. Well, I've had years of getting used to it. Such a good soundtrack, so much to it. You like a lot of the tracks, you don't notice like there's a really nice bass line going on through most of them. Takes several listens. Some really fun behind the scenes stuff available for those of you who are really deep dive levels interested in the game like I am. There's lots of pre-release builds of the game now, prototype versions and press copies and demos and things that went out to people with all sorts of strange changes that happened. There's a photo online of the boatman. So in this game we have to hit certain prerequisites and then the balloonist, the hot air balloonist, will take us to the next world. But once upon a time, certainly in the artisan home where we are now, there wasn't a hot air balloonist, there was a boatman who looked a bit like Asterix or someone, but a lot bigger. He had a big blonde moustache and a horned helmet, I think. And you would go on the boatman's boat to the next world, and there's a photo of that online from an article, a magazine article, I think. But also there's a piece that Stuart Copeland did, the composer, where a camera crew went round to his house/studio where he was making the Spyro stuff, and you can see him actually making the music, playing with the instruments and telling you what the process is, and saying that he'd been given like all these cheats, like Game Shark style cheats, where he could completely hack the game and get unlimited lives, or like Probably even had a moon jump or something like that, so he could move around the levels a lot easier, because he was unable to complete some of the harder levels. And he was like, I need to play through this level if I'm going to design music for it. Can you guys help me?
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
Boo-doo-boo-boo, boo-doo-boo. There's a 4K picture of the boatman. I'm going to click it, and my stream might just lag a little bit while I load this picture. Well, that's not 4K, but sure, that's it. You've got it there, Lobrotovich. For anyone who wants to see the boatman, it's linked in the chat. There he is. Love that kind of stuff. Cutting room floor. So interesting, knowing what could have been. And not just with games that, you know, not just because Spyro is my favourite game, but like others too. Love seeing how things took change of direction. I don't know why they got rid of the boatman. Well, I probably do know why they got rid of the boatman, because some of the levels, some of the later worlds, don't have water access. Oh, God, I overtook him. Magic Crafters is halfway up a mountain. Dreamweavers is floating islands in the sky. Like, islands in the sky. All the others have water access to them, sort of. Peacekeepers, you leave Peacekeepers. There is a jetty that stretches out into some water, but it's a pond. And you can't sail from a pond to another world because, you know, it's got borders to it, so... But, yeah, that's probably why they had to get rid of the boatman. Because you can't get a boat up a mountain, I'm afraid. Unless you're real skillful. Maybe the boat could fly. I mean, there are flying boats in Spyro 2, so yeah, maybe. There was also a guy who was a level designer, I think, for Spyro, who posted a huge wodge of notes. He just found these folders that he knew he had somewhere, or he thought he'd lost, I think, and he just sort of dug them out from like his attic or something. And I think it was mostly Spyro 2 designs, like Glimmer and stuff like that. But he had all kinds of notes and things. So interesting. If you go way, but I don't know, it'd be difficult to find actually. But it's way back in my my tweet history. I think I will have retweeted the guy. Have I got everything? 4 out of 4. God, I normally have a real hard time getting the treasure from up on the edge of Stonehill. I always leave like one red gem somewhere in a clump of trees, but apparently I did it. Hannibal crossed the Alps with elephants. I think a boat on a mountain is doable, sure, but on a floating island maybe. That's probably where it gets tricky. So we're going to Dark Hollow now, and we're going to see the first of the Norks I was talking about earlier. The big round-bellied ones with little fangs. My favourite design. They reoccur throughout the game. Some in Lofty Castle. There's some... Yeah, they're all over. But I love it here. So much. I want to live here. Even just, look, this is where you start. And look at the swirly pattern on that thing. Who went to that trouble? It's PS1 era, remember? This probably looked like ass on a CRT running on a PS1. That the resolution on that will have been nothing, and only now because we're emulating it can you see all the detail that's gone into that texture. Got all the topiary, nicely trimmed. Ah, oh, look at it. Lighting. I know it's all baked in, but still. Even these lanterns I used to think were a really nice design. So these are little these little fanged frogs that are pretty cute. In every level there's tiny little, they're called fodder, tiny little creatures of different kinds, and that's how you get butterflies. Although I love the music in this game, I'll just turn it down a touch. I'll turn everything down a touch because I'm a bit worried I'm getting drowned out. Unless it's not too quiet, let me know. Here we go. Here's the sort of big, gormless, cross-eyed fanged Norks. Love these guys. Oh, he got me. Great design. These guys have got metal armor, and therefore they can shield themselves from fire. Still sounds good. Good to know. Thank you, Lobotovich.
Oh, it's you.
Purple dragon.
I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course, they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
I think it's that there's no dragon with Spyro's exact colouring. I think there's no purple dragons with red wings or something like that, or sort of orangey. I'm sure I just read something about someone who was like speculating about the Spyro universe made the point that Spyro is pretty unique looking. I don't know. It was something about that. Every single dragon, and I believe also... Oh, ding. Whoops. I'm still on Slack. Let me just close that. Certainly every single dragon, and I think every single enemy as well in this game, or every single animated creature at all, was all animated by the same one man. Definitely all the dragons were. Which is pretty wild. And he didn't have... I think he did it in an amazingly short length of time.
Big enemies like this Gnork with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
There's no consensus in-game as to whether it's Gnork or Gnork. Spyro always says Gnork. Some of the dragons say Gnork. This level's a good example of, in fact I think I showed it at the time in the edit. This level's a good example of one of the things I was talking about, why I love the game design so much, the visual design of the game. It's such a... I love the blend of, you know, grass, naturally looking grass and trees and moss and stone. But then, you know, it's like, look at this, there's like a... It's all been carved. It's all been carved out by masons. It just sort of blurs, a lot of the levels really blur the line between, you're like, am I in a natural formation or am I in a man-made or dragon-made thing, or a bit of both? Wizard Peak is a good example of that, which we'll come to probably in the next stream, where you're in caves effectively, but they've got tiles on the floor, you know, and like these steps, you can see that they're stone steps, but they're grass on top. I really just love the blend of it all. Love these guys too. Flame these guys from the back, of course. Is my internet dying, or is it TP's internet? I mean, the little indicator on my OBS is... Oh, actually, it is occasionally dipping. You're right. It's mostly up there, but I am seeing, actually, you're right. Oh yeah. Every so often it's going duh, and then it's like fine, and then it's... I wonder if there's anything I can do about that. Might just be a bit of a Yorkshire internet deal, I'm afraid. There are some frame drops from time to time. That's a shame. We might just have to kind of stick it out, I'm afraid. Obviously, I recommend you stick it on a bit of a lower resolution, but man, what can I do? I think it's just, unfortunately, my speed varies day to day, and sometimes I can be absolutely fine when I'm streaming, and sometimes not so good. Looks a little bit better now. looking a bit better for me now, but I don't know.
Want to know
Give it a
secret?
refresh, maybe.
Use the triangle button when you want to zoom in and look around. Oh, your secret's safe with me.
It's a shame. Hopefully it'll improve as we go. I think what doesn't help with Spyro in particular is because there's a lot of charging. It means it can be a bit of a bit ratey kind of game in that, like, the capture is constantly being updated with you know, new pixels, new colors, because you're moving around that quickly. Whereas, you know, in a game where, you know, like a third-person narrative RPG modern game, doing a lot of walking around, and it's not so intensive. Okay, well, we'll have to just go with it, I'm afraid. It's not so much I can do other than not stream at all. So I'm really sorry for any of you who are suffering with a bit of lag. Could be my internet, could be partly to do with the bitrate in the game and so on. And that there's a lot of information to transfer, but I'll have to stick with it. My apologies. So Dark Star XCIV, my Roman numerals are not that good. I don't know what that what that stands for. Their subscription has not popped up for some reason. Could you say hello? Absolutely. Thank you, Sessa Prompts, for keeping an eye on the chat. Dark Star, thank you so much. I'm sorry that you didn't get a view whip there. Let me check on the back end, see if you've don't actually see you on the back end, but anyway, so you might want to, maybe your subscription didn't go through. I would have a look at that if you want to, but in any case, there we go. Cool. So that's Dark Hollow done. We're now going to Town Square. Entering Todd Square.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the L2 and R2 buttons to get a good look.
To get a good look. I certainly will. There we go. If you charge the bulls, they get stuck like this. Nice little detail they added there. Completely unnecessary. Go above and beyond the devs here. There's actually a I think a trophy or a skill point or something available in Reignited Trilogy for getting all the bulls on their horns in this level. Can't really do that in the original version because if you go too far away from a bull that's stuck in his horns, it'll just despawn. But obviously in Reignited Trilogy, they make it so that they don't despawn, which is good.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Oh, did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing X at the very top of your jump?
I did know that, yeah. It's the thing about dragons in this game. They only tell you information once you've already managed to do something that's... If that dragon should have been up there, because that's, for a new player, that glide isn't so easy to do. And it's him saying, you know, you get the longest glides by pressing X at the very top of your jump. Would be useful to know for a new player. It's like in Dark Hollow, we had to fight through a couple of shield Norks to reach a dragon, and then when you get there it says, oh yeah, Metal armor's fireproof, so you best charge him instead. It's like, yeah, I've worked that out, mate. That's how I got here. Sparks missed those because he was busy eating butterflies. Oh, what's going on? Got a gold gem there, that's worth 10 units.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run! Run! I'm feeling a little winded.
I'm feeling a little winded. Yeah, there was one of these thieves in Stone Hill, actually, which I forgot to mention. I just chased him and killed him instantly. But that's a tricky glide to work out when you're new to the game. You can hear the na 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 na, and you're like, what? You might even be able to see him from. Yeah, you can. You're like, oh, how do I get up there? You know, you can't reach it. Don't know how to do it. Have to step on this this step here, and glide around like that. So there are these egg thieves throughout the game. Gotta track them down, get their eggs. Again, purely just because the balloonists have certain prerequisites, and they're like, I'm not taking you anywhere until you found 6 eggs, or 1,000 treasure, or, freed 60 dragons. Oh no. Still, I like tutorial dragons over hint text. Absolutely, Silent Cop. Yeah, it's much nicer to have 80... Well, they're not entirely unique. Obviously, they share a lot of models, but they are mostly unique dragons. Certainly, a lot of them have got something to say. You know, if they don't all look different, a lot of them have useful information rather than just "thank you for releasing me," which is not as common as people remember as a message. And yeah, it's nice to have...
It's everyone's favourite dragon, boy or girl.
Certainly is, Deluxe Man. Thank you for the bits. Yeah, it's nice to have sort of 80 unique characters guiding you through the game in that way. These are called these propeller chests. You use your fire to get the propeller going. It takes about three hits, but if you are very careful... Oh, I might have undercooked it there. Yeah, I did. You can aim the propeller though, and you can get it to land on enemies and kill them, or land on certain chests and break it open, which is pretty cool.
Thank you for releasing me.
Would have preferred if you hadn't said that, dude, because I was just saying how rare it is that people actually say that in this game. Am I done? Yes, I am. I'm just so good. Save the game there, just for safeties. Oh my god, this game is my childhood, says Gold Gaming Kid. Certainly is. So that's it. That's every level in the Artisan Home done, in a sense. All the usual levels. We've got the boss fight, which is through here. You can only access it once you've at least completed one of the other levels. Not even completed, actually. You can go into a level and exit out of it, and then it will open up. But so now we can get in here, and in fact, this dragon will say something new now. Now that we're allowed to go in, he'll say that we're ready.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The Artisan's boss has threw a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
I do. Now, of course, there is, for those of you who've played this game before, or played Reignited, there is another level in this game. In this world, sorry. It's over here somewhere. Ooh, what could it be? It's not behind the waterfall, if that's what you're thinking. But I like to unlock that level in the way that you would unlock it playing the game for the first time if you weren't aware of its location. Because later on you're told about it and you go, oh, what? There's still a level in the Artisan Home all the way back earlier in the game that I didn't know about. Oh, I'll go and look for it then. So I like to wait until later on before we do that. 20 minutes until the Spyro number, my dudes. Oh, that means it's 4 o'clock. That means Crash is being shown off right now. Hopefully a lot of you will stick with the stream. Check it out afterwards. That's what I'm going to do. Looking forward to it. It means you can have the best of both. These dogs here are pretty much the only enemy in the entire game, other than bosses, that take 2 hits. And they're introduced to you in the first world. And then you never see them again. Seems a bit weird, really, to do that. But like, hey, welcome to the game. Here's technically one of the hardest enemies in the entire game to deal with. There are other enemies out there that are in some ways a lot harder for their own in their own way, but yeah, there aren't really any others that take 2 hits as far as I can think of. Oh, there's yeah, the ones in North Cove. They do. Ooh. Such a good soundtrack. Especially when you first get to this level and it's like really daunting. You know, you've come into this level thinking, oh, there's a boss about, I'm here to fight a boss. And it really tries to get you. This level in Reignited Trilogy, they filled this room with portraits, which is really nice. And sort of to match it, this dragon here, because every dragon really is unique in Reignited Trilogy, which is something I really like. But this guy here has... love that bit of the music. He's an artist. So it's kind of like this is his little castle, and these are all the paintings on his wall. Something they didn't include, though, in the Reignited Trilogy, which, from some of the... this is Toasty, this level, was one of the first levels they revealed, actually, and something was missing from some of the very early reveal material, and I thought, oh, it's okay, they're still working on this. But this gorgeous stained glass window up here, which you don't really get to see, even down here, you can't really get a full... you know, a good idea of what it looks like, but like it's a really quite detailed texture up there. And that window in the Reignited Trilogy is just empty, which is really strange to have gone to the effort of filling this room with paintings and so on. You know, I thought they were just waiting to until the game came out before they revealed what that stained glass window would have, but...
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
He certainly does. Yes, you're absolutely right, Lobrotovich. I want to watch the Crash video myself, the Crash reveal, after the stream, so I'd really prefer it if people didn't let me know what it was in the chat, if you're watching both at the same time. I know it's only like, you know, it's not exactly a plot spoiler. It's not like you're going to tell me, oh, well, the final boss, he actually fights Nasty Nork, and they reveal a crossover with Spyro. That would be you know, that would be a plot spoiler, which no one's going to know about until the game comes out. But, you know, what all they're going to be showing today is like the nature of the game, whether there's been any sort of genre tweaks, whether there's an open world hub, anything like that. And that's less spoilery than actual narrative stuff, but I still don't want to know. I just want to enjoy the reveal and all the, oh my god, this looks great, or oh my god, this looks terrible moments for myself, so I'd appreciate that. Yeah, surprise, the scarecrow with the scythe is actually just a sheep on stilts. He got me. I've lost my sparks, actually. Is that it? We did it. Cecil Prumps is off to the allotment now. I'll be back shortly. Well, say hello to the vegetables for me, Cecil Prumps. There we go. Sparks is back. He looks so sickly when he's on his last health. He's all green and purple and horrible. Right, so that actually, certainly for now, is the artisan home complete. Because we're not going to do the hidden level till later. So we head through here. We come down and speak to the balloonist, who says, "Huh, wow, I see you've been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro. You may travel to the Peacekeepers world if you like." If we'd come earlier, he would have said, "I'm not taking you to Peacekeepers unless you free like 8 dragons or 10 dragons." Yeah, 10 dragons. So, Peacekeepers, hop on his head, into the balloon, and off we go. Spoiler alert, Batman is revealed to have fathered Crash. Oh my god. Big reveal. This is the military force.
Welcome to Peacekeepers, Spyro. Look how our treasure has been turned against us and stolen. Recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
So the first dragon generally in a home world will give you an idea of what the balloonist is going to want from you. So the first dragon in the artisan home said, "Free 10 dragons and go to the balloonist." This guy says collect treasure. And that's because this time the balloonist is not so interested in us saving dragons. He wants us to recover like, I don't know, 2,000 gems or something. Ooh. So, in fact, normally by the time I speak to a balloonist for the first time, I've already got whatever it is that we need. So let's go over and speak to him now and see what he says. Oh, yikes. Hello? Gosnold. The Magic Crafter's world is far away and very dangerous. Maybe if you found 1,200 stolen treasures, I'll show it to you. Okay, Gosnold, thank you very much. See you later. So here you see, if there was a boat on here, it wouldn't get you very far. So, but I suspect originally when they designed this world and they were still on the idea of the boatman, they had this jetty, the boatman here, and then maybe even that wall was gone at the back and it went out into the ocean. And then they just closed it up and turned it into a pond later. I don't think they'd have had such little foresight that they'd have designed this boatman character and then literally in the second home world built a pond and then thought, oh hang on, that's not going to work. So it probably was an open river or ocean originally. But I've certainly never seen that in any of the old assets. But the boatman was removed very quickly, by the looks of it, very early on. There's talk as well of a whole extra world, or sort of an extra 2 worlds, but one of them or both of them ended up being amalgamated into the game in a different way. So as you can probably tell already, that each world in Spyro is sort of named after the people who live there and what their purpose is and what they contribute to. Dragon Society. So you've got the artisans, this is the Peacekeepers, where these guys keep peace in the Dragon Kingdoms, of course. We've got the Magic Crafters coming up, who, surprise, surprise, the bum thing. Here it is. Surprise, surprise, the Magic Crafters make the magic for the world. But there's talk, apparently, of the idea that there was going to be the Machinists, who, I guess, make all the machines, like these cannons, which we can actually use ourselves. And I think the Machinist world essentially became Nasty's world, which is at the end of the game. But equally, Nasty's world is just a single platform floating in the ocean, which has some portals on it. And, you know, there's speculation that was originally intended to be much bigger and have more depth to it, like all the other home worlds. But they had to sort of rush it out and make it just a small platform. That could be true. Maybe, maybe not. It actually had... it's the only level in the game that recycles a music track. It uses the toasty music that from the boss fight that we just did. But there's also, I've read, some sources talk about how there was going to be, or in some very, very early pre-release stuff that went out to the press, they described a different world that was called like the Aquifers, or the Aquifiers. I think it was the Aquifers. And it's some kind of water world. And we'll just listen to this dragon.
Hi, Spyro. Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
Oh, I will. It's good how those cannons know exactly how far you want the cannonball to travel. It certainly is, isn't it? 360 no scope. I'll do one in a minute, Archers, actually, because we've got one more thing to shoot. But yeah, there's like the Aquifers or something, and it's like a watery world of some description. And I've seen elsewhere that people said, oh, that kind of became the flight levels, which are all kind of water-based. There aren't really that many platforms for you to walk on. So I don't know if the Aquifer world was originally just going to have a load of flight levels in it, or if it was going to have... I think they were going to have it so that Spyro could swim in the original game. But, you know, they had to pare back everything that they were thinking of doing. Right, 360 no scope, here we go. I wonder if I can turn it all the way around once I've lit the fuse. I don't think there's time. No, there's not. There's definitely not. 360. No scope. Yeah, that foxed me for so long as a kid. Despite the giant target on it, I just kind of... I'd spent that much time in Peacekeepers just exploring it and doing all the levels and stuff that I just started to assume that, oh no, that's just a kind of... just a bit of red stuff on the canyon stack. It's not... that's just what it is. That doesn't mean anything. So it just became part of the level design for me. I never really noticed that there was a big target on it. So here's the first flight level you would generally encounter as a noob kid who didn't jump on all the things in the arts and home and unlock the early flight level. I always do the flight levels last or just before the boss, so we'll leave that for now. I'm a creature of habit with this game. I wonder if TP will tell his doctor brother when he completes this. I don't have a doctor brother. What? When I complete... what? I don't know what that means. I've completed this 100 times. I don't know, maybe that's a reference to something that I've mentioned before, but that's completely lost on me. Oh, lost on me. Oh, he ran back. Oh no! Oof. Could be talking about Adam, as Adam's brother works for the NHS. Oh, I see. So did Adam say that he was going to tell his doctor brother when he's completed the game? That makes sense. My sister works for the NHS. I'll tell her when I've completed this.
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some...
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
That dragon. So, I mean, this really... if you thought I was a Spyro nerd knowing about the Aquifiers and the machinists, you're really about to hear me go off now. And those of you who've watched me play Spyro 1, either on PS1 or on Reignited, will have heard me talk about this before. But there are certain dragons throughout the kind of the middle of the game that imply that Spyro is like... there's like almost like a conspiracy. Like they know something about Spyro that he doesn't know. And this is the first guy who implies that. He's got like a destiny.
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some...
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure!
And, there's a couple of dragons we'll encounter in this stream and the next stream who just sort of build on that. And you're like, what is that about? And there's like of course, there are actual fan theories and stuff about it all. Oh, jeez, I charge jumped, but I didn't really jump, so made a real hash of that. Let's just have some of these guys. Sparks, eat up. But yeah, there's a really weird, almost conspiracy going on where, like, the Elder Dragons, they're called Elder Dragons, but it's just all of them. All 80 dragons in the game seem to know something about Spyro or have a plan in mind for him. And, yeah. It's a strange thing. And there are fan theories about it and stuff. Some people think, oh, there's a really good theory with like some really good evidence for it. I love fan theories, especially when it just works so well. You know, like the Pixar one that like all the movies take place in the same universe and stuff. That's just stuff like that. I think it's so interesting when people break stuff down to such an extent that they're able to find these tiny little like hints and bits of evidence and things. And there's this idea that the dragons think that the dragons think that Spyro is destined for like something really great, and in order to test him, they've orchestrated this entire scenario. Them being trapped in crystal and like Nasty Nork and stuff, and all these things going on. Hang on, let me just see if I can. This might just hit the bridge. Oh, it did. Okay, never mind. And there's like some surprising evidence about it. Thank you, by the way, Stephen Scodes, for gifting a sub to the Tick Cartoon. That's your 11th on the channel so far. So if you guys will indulge me for a moment, let me tell you why the entire game and the whole predicament that the world has found itself in was actually orchestrated by the dragons, and they wanted it to happen. For one thing, Spyro just coincidentally happens to not get hit by Nasty Nork's spell, and that people say, oh, it's because he's so small and because he ducked, and it's like, well, actually, the spell came right down vertically from above, so you can't duck if something is dropping on you like a bomb. Right, so you can't duck from a bomb, so that doesn't really make much sense. It didn't fly over his head. So it's almost like intentional that Spyro was the only one free. Now the best part about this is that all of the enemies you'll notice in this game, when you kill them, they drop a gem and they pop out of existence and leave sparks behind. I don't mean Sparks the Dragonfly, I mean Sparks, of course. And let's free this dragon first.
Thank you for releasing me.
You're welcome. And the reason that is, because actually later on, in all the other Spyro games, enemies don't drop gems. It's only in this one. And the reason that these ones drop gems is if you listen actually to the very beginning of the game, when the film crew are interviewing the dragons in the opening cutscene. One of the things they say is, what about this Gnasty Gnorc character? I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause, right? So that's why the enemies disappear and drop gems, okay? Because they've all just been magicked up by Nasty. Now, the most interesting thing is, when you kill Nasty Nork at the end of the game, he pops out of existence and drops a load of gems, and it's like, hang on, what? But who was the puppet master behind the puppet master? You know, how has that happened?
Tri-Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Yeah, I could do my thesis on this. Don't they drop gems in 3, says Straight Edge. Or maybe they do. I don't know. Yes, they probably do, actually. But certainly it's not a consistent thing. In Spyro 2, they don't drop gems at all. I don't know Spyro 3 well enough. I think they do actually drop gems in 3.
Yeah.
It's 420 time once again, my dudes.
It's 420, my dudes.
It's also time for a fun fact. Did you know that apart from Snoop Dogg, dragons are the best BBBBB blazers of all time? Think of it, any regular blazer will need a lighter to light some weed. But dragons are the lighter, as they can breathe fire from their mouths with ease, thus not needing a lighter. Which makes them the best BBB blazers.
Probably does.
Spyro, Ridley, Shenron, Charizard, Smaug, and many others, all putting other BBB blazers to shame.
Yeah.
Happy 420 BBB blaze it, my dudes. Moggy dab.
Dragon jokes.
Spyro. I guess that means dragon jokes.
Sure.
Why are dragons such good storytellers? Because they have impressive tales. Ha ha ha. How do dragons make vacation plans? They don't, they just wing it. Hee hee hee.
Hee hee hee.
Why are dragons such good musicians? They really know their scales. Ha ha ho.
Ha ha ho.
Why do dragons often sleep during the day? So they can fight nights. Hoo hoo hoo.
Hoo hoo hoo.
Why did the dinosaurs live longer than the dragons? Because they didn't smoke. Ha ho hoo.
Ha ho hoo.
Moggy fire.
Moggy fire. Thank you, Lobrotovich. And hello, Snoop. Snoop actually was involved in the promotion of Spyro Reignited trilogy, so it's surprisingly relevant that he's here. There we go. Thank you, Lord Brotovich and Jack Bradshaw, for your bits there. It's Blaze It time, everyone. So as I was saying, if you allow me to get back to my thesis, thanks for coming to my Spyro TED Talk. Interestingly, these gems here, there's a few points like this in the game where these gems are conspicuously placed over to the left, and you're like, if you're just a silly child, you go, oh, got him, bye, or jump down. But it's actually there to show you that if you fly around here like this, oh, then you can reach this impossible to reach area that's really annoying, because when you get to the end of the game and you're standing end of the level and you're standing there and you see a dragon over here, you're like, how do I get there? You can't glide to it from anywhere else in the level. Andy, you subscribed via Twitch Prime, thank you very much. Straight Edge is about to interrupt my my TED Talk, that's fine. I'll wait for it.
Yeah.
I'm an interrupting cow. Moo.
Moo.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled, with a pinch of salt.
With a pinch of salt. So Nasty Nork, when you defeat him at the end of the game, drops gems and vanishes out of existence. It's almost like he was created by magic too. Oh my god, he's like Snoke. He's like Snoke in the Star Wars. I'm combining my Spyro rant with the Star Wars rant. So the conspiracy basically that I would like to subscribe to based on some of the things that the dragons talk about. Oh, it's a 25 of that one, everyone. Is that the Elder Dragons, in order to test Spyro, because he's some sort of chosen one or foreseen dragon or something like that, special boy, they made Nasty Nork, and then in a kind of Supreme Leader Snoke sort of way, they got Nasty Nork to trap them in crystal so that they could test Spyro. And there's a whole thing about his destiny. And actually, we're about to free another dragon who will add a little bit to that whole thing about, oh, you're a special dragon, but I'm going to be really vague about it and not really. And this game never really goes into the full. Never really talks about that, about how there's all this like allusion to something strange going on, and it's never really deliver it. It's something that if I could chat to the devs, I would want to ask them about. I don't know if they would remember, because I've seen them talking before about it. Sometimes they remember things really well, and they know like cut content that was removed from the game. They remember who did what, you know, how they designed things. but sometimes they forget certain aspects of it, which is understandable. It was a long time ago. But I would love to ask the devs, were you going to do anything with this whole thing? This guy adds to it now.
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you're a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known?
I forget.
So that old guy, despite the fact that he's forgotten, he doesn't have a very good memory, he knows that the Elder Dragons, ever since Spyro was a wee puff of smoke, they've known something. They've always known something. Vague. Anyway, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Question. How does the ending fit into all this, where all the dragons are recrystallized? Oh my god, Tick Cartoon, you've just broken the theory completely. I mean, there's so many questions based... I mean, I never really take that ending seriously, but, you even have to just ask yourself, well, hang on, how come... Even that fan theory aside, how come they were able to be recrystallized at all if Nasty's been defeated? Like, has he not been defeated? Evidently he's not been defeated, but, like, how and why has he not been? Because we literally just did it, you know? I don't know. That's why TP likes this game so much. It's just Star Wars, but with dragons. It is, yeah. So what you're saying is Spyro is Anakin, Nasty Nork is Snoke, and Peter Austin is Dave Filoni. Yeah, I think that's probably... That's the long and short of it. If Spyro failed his destiny, would the dragons just stay trapped forever? I don't know. I don't know. If the devs have any sense, that they'll do a Lucas and be like, yeah, we planned it. Well, they clearly planned something. They had something in their head about, oh no, about Spyro being a special boy. But they just didn't go all the way with it. Or maybe they were thinking over the trilogy that they would develop it and then they just kind of left it behind. ATP, do you know if Ben will be streaming Last of Us Part 2 during the week? Cheers. I don't know what Ben's choice of game is this week, I'm afraid, but he will be streaming on Tuesday, tomorrow, and Friday. And some of it might be The Last of Us, or it might not. I can't help you there. Propeller went on the wrong chest. I don't think it'll do it for something so close here. If I do it here. Oh, well, I just broke it anyway. So. Oh, hello. Yeah, Ben did stream some Last of Us, I know that. I just don't know whether he's going to continue it, but it will be available on the VODs channel. Oops. Oh, we've done it again. Keep having to check because I'm like, oh, need short work of that. Yeah. Yeah, all good conspiracy theories are broken by one simple piece of information. That's why it works. It works because it doesn't work. I don't know. I'm sure if I put enough thought into it, I could come up with a reason as to why. Maybe that's just the second phase. Maybe Spyro's test went on even longer than... because evidently Spyro managed to free all the dragons again. Because they all get... For those of you who don't know what we're talking about here, in the outro, the epilogue of the game, in a kind of jokey way, Spyro's talking to the news crew who were at the beginning, and he says, I think that Nasty Nork, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent. And then behind him, all the dragons get frozen in crystal again. And he goes, uh-oh, here we go again. And then the credits run, and that's the end of the game. But in Spyro 3, we see that all the dragons have been freed again, and surely Spyro was the one who freed them all. So maybe it was just a two-phased test, and the second phase of the test just never got made into a game. So it's still, the conspiracy still works. It's just like Insomniac just didn't bother making a game of the entire test that the dragons had set for Spyro. They were like, oh, we'll just do half of it, you know. People will get the idea. I guess by then, Nasty's homeworld had been unlocked, so Spyro just nipped back to Nasty's. Flamed him again, defeated him properly. Oh, I forgot to do that. You have to flame these cooking pots to get 1 gem each out of them. And I think I just missed the first one. There we go. This seems like a really inconvenient thing. A metal cape. But, you know, what do I know? I definitely think they made the thieves harder to catch in Reignited. I'm finding them much easier here. Although, I think this game actually has... Oh, I don't know. I was about to say, I think this game has adaptive difficulty. I know certainly the Crash games do. The original PS1 builds of the Crash games.
How's a dragon supposed to flame metal armor anyway?
Remember, Spyro, flame won't harm metal, but charging with your horns, that should do the trick.
Again, telling me that after I've already fought my way through several armored enemies. Yeah, the original Crash trilogy has adaptive difficulty, which you might know if you've watched all of our content. We've covered it at least once, I think maybe more than once, in lists or whatever. But depending on how well you're doing, how often you're dying and stuff, in Crash 1, for example, the speed of the boulder in the boulder levels will change, or if you keep dying at the same point, the game will initially respawn you with a mask, which is, you know, like an extra hit point in that game. And then if you keep dying again and again, it will turn one of the boxes, one of the crates, into a checkpoint box. Like one of the regular boxes that would normally be just have some Wumpa fruit in it, will actually turn into a checkpoint. So fairly cutting edge for the time. In fact, I think it was one of the first ever games to have adaptive difficulty in that sense. And I feel like, I don't know if this is true. I feel like the speed of the thieves changes in this game depending on... No, I don't know. Maybe that's Reignited. Maybe they did it for that. I'm not sure. Peter, what are your thoughts on the new Crash game? The trailer released today looked good. Yeah, I've not seen it yet, Sean Wallace, because I've been streaming during the release of the trailer, so I've got no idea. I also don't want to know what was shown, but glad to know that it looked good. So nobody tell me. We've only got half an hour left of the stream, so hopefully I can make it through without hearing what was shown. But I'm hoping, as I said earlier, that it's not too much of a deviation from the game as we know it. From the original trilogy in terms of the way the games play. I'm glad they're doing it though. It's really good that, you know, they've done their reboot of Crash and then they're doing a proper sequel. You know, maybe, just maybe, Spyro will get the same treatment in due course. Because it sold pretty well. So here's something really special about Spyro. For a PS1 game, the fact that we can stand here and see all the way over there to where we started the level is, again, pretty unprecedented. This level of detail technology, it's known as. You see how the stuff over there in the distance, although we can see it, it's very plain looking. The shapes aren't as defined. The textures, you know, you can't see the texture on the walls and so on. You can also see gems
Are you up
twinkling.
for a Spyro 4, or are you glad they're taking the risk with Crash first?
Sheldon Freud, thanks for the bits. I'm up for Spyro 4. If they did, I would really like it if they focused a little bit more on the Spyro 1 world and feel, which, you know, given the fact that they put that much focus into Spyro 1 over the other two in the Reignited trilogy, maybe they would do that, you know? Maybe that's their intention. But yeah, I just feel like the further you go on the Spyro trilogy, it gets more tech heavy and pop culture heavy. You know, it's sort of becomes a bit modernized, and you have like a lot of electricity and machines and stuff. And what I really love about the original Spyro game is the whimsical fantasy aspect to it. There is a little bit, you know, there's some machine stuff, but it's mostly portrayed as being evil. You know, you've got like Nasty's world is full of people using technology, guns and things, and polluting the oceans. Whereas pretty much, and the Beastmaker's world as well, which we'll get to later, is about the Norks moving into a swamp and filling it with junk and electricity. They'd like electrify the whole thing. So yeah, I felt like with Spyro 2 and Spyro 3, when they started adding a lot of vehicles and just things like shades and electric guitars, and I know there's shades in this game, it's just it took away some of the charm, I thought. So I'd hope that they would not, you know, maybe take a step back to basics and be a bit more fantasy heavy. But yeah, you can see the gems twinkling in the distance. This was pretty, you know, if you think about Silent Hill, I mean, that game did pretty well off the fog because it used it as part of the game. But you know, or the South Park game, so many games of this era, you couldn't do this kind of thing. You couldn't see that far. But level of detail technology means that you can see that far. And if you notice the twinkling gems, this was a moment that really blew my mind in the game, actually.
Hey, what's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
That guy says you can just glide all the way over there to the other side of the river. And okay, yeah, you can see the gems twinkling. I told you that there's gems there, so evidently you're able to get there at some point. But I don't think I really realised that those were gems when I was younger. I thought that, all that over there, was not part of the world, you know? But, look how long this glide is. And this is why they had to come up with that level of detail technology, so that you can see into the distance. Because if you couldn't, that moment there would not work. But it does. It works really well. The world is effectively being rendered on 2 or 3 times over. Or not rendered, but it's almost like they've overlaid, so there's like a really detailed version of the world, and then a medium detail, and then a low detail. And they show different bits of it depending on... So you can actually see the world changing in detail as you run towards stuff. So if you keep an eye on the sort of the texture of the... You see that wall there on the right? If I zoom in and out, the wall doesn't disappear as it would do in South Park, for example. But you can see the change of detail. So there's 2 or 3 different representations of the world. And... depending on how far things are away, it gets rendered in different ways. Just to allow you to be able to see right to the end all the time, wherever you are, which is great. Oop, yikes. Wow, the shade on South Park out of nowhere. Yeah, I know. Such a classic, well-made game, am I right? Now available to see on our Worst Games Ever playlist. Look at these guys, they shake it off. Shake it off, there you go. The time signature changes in these tracks, they're just crazy. The constant changes in rhythm and stuff. Stuart Copeland is the drummer from The Police, the band The Police. So he's pretty competent when it comes to messing around with rhythm and stuff.
You've reached the highest point in Clifftown. You can get to almost anywhere from here. If I were you, I'd use that whirlwind there.
There we go. I do kind of get why there's more technological / machinery based stuff in the sequels. Avalar's a completely different world, and the Forgotten Realms had to advance a different way since the magic was fading. I mean, that makes sense, Demica Kempton. That is a very good in-universe explanation. Avalar is a completely different world, to be fair. Very, very different world, and rightly so. And Avalar's great. I really like Avalar. And yeah, the freaking Lost Realm, Forgotten Kingdom, whatever it's called, Forgotten Lands. The dragons left, and the magic was going. Yeah. And that's fine. That's okay. But, yeah, I think what I'd really like to see in a Spyro sequel, Spyro 4, is further exploration of the Dragon Kingdoms. You know? I'd love it if they... Because Spyro 2 and Spyro 3 don't take place in Spyro's world, which is really weird. Or I guess Spyro 3, it does in a way, but it's on the other side of the world. He digs through a hole, you know, and gets to the other side of the world, but it's not Spyro's home. And I'd love for them to do, like, you know, maybe it could be set later, or they could even do it. Well, I guess they wouldn't want to do a time thing themselves, given that that's what Crash seems to be doing. But you know, they could set it in a time where there's more of the Dragon Kingdoms to explore. Either some new homeworlds, or new levels, or even revisit a couple of them, but like different parts of them. So I don't just mean literally just Reignited again, where you come back and visit these worlds, but like, you know, what's over that hill? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I'd just love to see more of the Dragon Kingdom, I guess. That's my point. But sure, it makes sense. Am I done? Oh no, I'm not. Oh, what have I missed? Is there still a chest to blow up? Oh, there we go. I certainly always leave these behind, these two. But something else too that I've forgotten. Ah! Okay. Now we're done. Spyro the Dragon King, all grown up. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it set in the future in the sense that Spyro is older and a big dragon. I still want him to be small, but I'd like to see Nasty Nork back again. They did that in the bad sequels that they did. They brought Nasty Nork and Ripto back, and by all means, like I'm not saying I don't want them to innovate and come up with their own stuff and their own bosses and their own worlds and stuff. Like they should do that for sure. But it's just nice. It would be nice to tie things in a little bit more. You know, tie things together. It's just nice for, as Spyro says in the ending of this game. For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And Spyro's had some good adversaries over the years. I'd just like to see more of them, really. Here's a particularly good soundtrack. This level. We've got enough gems, by the way, to now move on. But we're not going to. We will be back to this platform later, as someone mentioned on Twitter to me the other day. I wonder how many people who have actually played this game are going to have their minds a little bit blown. Someone tweeted me and said, hey, do you know how to get there's a big island full of extra life chests at the end of this level that foxes a lot of people. It certainly confused me as a child how to get to it. And I wouldn't be that surprised if there were some people in the audience who've played a fair bit of this game, but maybe never found out how to get them.
A word of caution, little one. Wait until you grow big, like me, before charging those large enemies.
The Police literally have an album called Synchronicity. Copeland does like his funky signatures. Fun fact, Copeland and Sting used to play fight, which often turned into actual fights. They once had to, I believe, cancel a gig because Copeland broke one of Sting's ribs. Oh my god. If Spyro came back as a dragon-esque city-burning giant dragon... Sorry, he said Drogon, and I misread all the hyphenated stuff. If Spyro came back as a Drogon-esque city-burning giant dragon, I'd play that game. Yeah, that sounds great. He sort of like the instruments in some of these tracks. They play melodies. They're playing. There's like maybe two or three instruments playing melodies or harmonies or stuff at the same time, and they're playing stuff at like different time signatures, or like one of them will play its tune for like 3 bars and then reset, while the other one carries on for a 4th bar before it resets, and then they're overlapping in a different way, and it's really well done. It all works, and it's like it makes it quite difficult to sing along to or not nod your head to at times, but who cares? It's just really great. I know there's a gem up there, but we'll be back in a moment. It's the only level where this takes place, where you see this stuff in this whole game, possibly in the whole trilogy. I think you got to just do that. There we go.
Spyro, some big Norks up ahead are wearing armor, and in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
Well, the game's running much better now that we're not playing in much higher resolution. I never really know which way to do this game, because you can't complete this level in one go without backtracking, so we'll have to just, we'll backtrack later. In fact, we'll do this. So, these Norks are effectively invincible, because they have got armor, which means you can't flame them, but they're also really big, which means you can't, as you'll see, you can't charge big guys, as the dragon told us at the start. So you're like, oh man, what are we going to do? But of course he's very conspicuously placed right at the edge, and armor can make their feet very slippery. I guess he's got metal shoes on. Oh god, he's got a long reach as well, hasn't he? Anyway, there he goes. Ooh. You can actually, when these guys chuck snowballs at you, charge through the projectile, which you can't do with every projectile in this game, but you can with those snowballs. Peter, since lockdown began, have you learnt any new skills? I've started cooking and eating spaghetti. I mean, cooking spaghetti isn't exactly a skill. You just put it in water and wait till it gets a bit sticky. Wait till it gets floppy and sticky. So it's not a new skill, but I've definitely had a couple of lifestyle changes, or, I do things a bit differently. I've walked a lot more, gone out walking.
Thank you for releasing me.
You're welcome. I'm trying to think if I've learnt any new skills, though. I feel like that I must have done something like that. I've been reading a lot. Not that I couldn't read before, but right, we need to. I'm going to backtrack now and get onto there. So we quickly charge up here. Ooh, biff. In fact, is this where there's a no? Somewhere else. There's like a little thing in the back of my head saying that I have maybe learned some kind of new skill. Oh, well, that's a bad skill, that one. That's a real bad skill. Have I learnt any new skills, Amy? Maybe not. No? Have you?
Driving.
Oh, yeah. Amy's driving. I mean, I've learnt how to supervise a learner driver. Yeah. And to be fair, you didn't. Well, you've developed a skill during. Like, you could already drive pre-lockdown. So again, here's a conspicuously placed gem. You stand on this edge here, and it leads you down here. Hup.
Yeah.
On the topic of new skills, thanks for your expert teaching of elements of accountancy. Costing during last week's stream, I was able to smash my internal module assessment.
Oh, only Lazarus, I'm very pleased. Come to me anytime you need to learn more about costing, whatever it was. So we've now flown down, got that key. We have to come back again. Hup. Pop the key in here. Mystery Sender says, has Amy played Spyro? Never. Have you? You played Reignited? The remastered one. You've watched me, No, you haven't. That's okay.
Oh no, actually, I did that level where you have to drive a cart through like a field to collect gems. I was in some sort of vehicle.
You're in a vehicle.
It was definitely Spyro.
You had to collect gems.
I just remember having to drive around. Was that?
Oh. Yeah, I think it was a Spyro 3 thing, and I don't know Spyro 3 very well.
I think it was.
Amy thinks she played a level where she's in a vehicle of some sort and had to drive the vehicle and collect
Obviously made a big impression.
probably gems. But I don't know. Trouble with the trolley. I don't think it was that one, no. I thought for a minute it might have been those of you who played Spyro 2, Hunter does a challenge in Canyon Speedway with a plane where you have to shoot targets, but it's not that. Well, yeah, I wondered that. It wasn't the Crash Team Racing Spyro level, was it? Because they released a Crash Team Racing level that was. It wasn't a racing game. Just you. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been Spyro 1 for sure, because there's no vehicles in that at all. There are some in Spyro 2, but you know. I wonder what it was. Maybe.
Thank you for releasing me.
Oh. Lots of age representation in this game. Thank you for releasing me. When are you going to play some Sims with Amy on stream, TP? I want to see some fiery toilets. That was my weird news the other day. It was pretty weird. Well, it was personal weird news as well. Not just, you know, it happened to us. Not just something I read. Still happening. Is your dog still walking at double speed, but not travelling at double speed?
And like going to the other side of the map while still attached to the lead.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. I don't know how audible you are on the microphone, but yeah. Yeah, also the dog, when it was like out for a walk or whatever, would suddenly like vanish to the other side of the map, and then it would be like in an inaccessible area of the world on the other side of a wall. Or like up a cliff, yeah. This is the island with the lives on it that you get to the end of the level, you're like, what? How do I get there? And I'll show you guys how you get there if any of you have never worked that one out. In fact, I won't show you that first, because first I'm going to head up here. But you have to go right back to the very, very start of the level and do a big glide to get up that island. I love this now. This Nork, you hit him, and you have to hit him again. So then the game has given you the precedent. Okay, you can't always just punch those guys once. Sometimes you have to hit them twice. And then this one is perfectly placed. Perfectly placed. So you hit him, he slides right to the edge and doesn't do the immediate fall animation as quickly as all the others have done when it's been one hit. So you start charging a second time, and if you don't stop quick enough, he will actually... Because he then falls away slightly slower than usual. And so you have to be... it's just perfectly placed pixel perfect so that you can end up charging off the edge of the cliff. So you're like, okay, that guy took 2 hits. This guy, 1. And then he goes. So good. Oh, last gem, is that? Yes, it is.
You've done well, Spyro.
Oh.
Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
I'm ready, all right. Ready for what?
There you go. Some dragons thought you weren't ready. What have they been talking about? What's all this? They're all chatting crap about Spyro behind his back. You've done well, Spyro. Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were. This intrigued me so much as a kid. Being so obsessed with this game and sort of realizing that there's some sort of conspiracy going. There's definitely a conspiracy going on. There's no doubt about that. It's just a question of whether Nasty Nork was created by the dragons. That's a whole different... That's fan theory. But there is something going on. Like, the dragons, the Elder Dragons know something about Spyro, and it's just never revealed. It's crazy. Rogan1118 says, is this the old version? It certainly is. I should hope so. So we're charging all the way back to the start of the level. And this, ladies and gents, if you've never got those lives before, is how you do it. You go to the end of here, and you're going to head around here. And that is Life Island. There you go. Easy. Not a hard glide, you just need to know where you're going. Lifeland. Yeah. Moneybags is the big bad. Yeah, he is. He certainly is. That's a life hack. Oh my god, Lobrotovich, perfect. That is the life hack. That's how you do it. So that, I think... Have we done... Yeah, that's it for Peacekeepers, isn't it? There's a flight level. I guess I'll do that pre-boss, just to, if anything, just to mix up the gameplay for a bit, because we've been doing standard levels for that long. And then we'll do Dr. Shemp afterwards. Night Flight. Here we go. It's 5 PM, so we'll quickly do... I'm happy to stick around, actually. I'll do Night Flight and then Dr. Shem, because it should be fairly quick. Touchwood. This is a one track that's got a weird time signature. Oh, yikes. I missed the chest, am I? Hello, I missed the chest. You want rings, chests, arches, becray, and then lights. And we can do it whatever you want. There's probably a faster, more efficient speedrun order than this, but this is the simplest order to do it. Although one of the lights is pretty... Just do a bit of a wonky turn. Hard left here. Oh no, I've done it wrong, but I'll still probably be okay. This one. 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go. That's it, all in one. Easy. No. Night Flight done. Freddy the Fabs, thank you so much. Thank you. I did this level earlier, now I'm preparing for how bad TP makes me look doing it first time. I find that Night Flight is probably the most obviously laid out one, because you follow the rings, then you follow the chest, then you follow the arches. The lights are a bit more, there's kind of two ways to see the lights, but most of the other flight levels aren't so easy. I've still not really nailed down, I think in most of them, if not all the others, exactly what order to do things in, and you don't necessarily have to do you know, all 8 of one thing and then all 8 of the next thing. Like sometimes it can help to be doing 2 things at once. So like Wild Flight, I think I try and do that with the boats and and the archers and stuff. But yeah. So Dr. Shemp, he's switching time signature. He's in a swung 4/4, but then is dropping a beat here and there for the sake of melody, in case anyone cared. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So this is this is a great track as well. It really goes places. This is Dr. Shemp. This guy thinks he's so cool. Dr. Shemp does. I also used to love that, like, the way that you fight some of the enemies in this game is that they just get smashed in your direction. And if you dodge them, they just fall off the edge and drop a gem. And you hear them scream as they fall. So it doesn't start particularly good, this track. It's fine, but it's just... But in a minute there's like some really nice solos that just sort of... So he's called Dr. Shemp, which is a weird name. He's sort of a witch doctor, I guess. I don't know what his PhD's in. I've always wondered that, but it's like an in-joke at Insomniac, the developers of this game. If they did something that I think if someone... Is it if they made a mistake, or is it if they got wound up by something, if they got annoyed? I think it's if they made a mistake, if they sort of flubbed something, or, you know, something like that. You would get the Shemp, which I think that in itself is like a Three Stooges reference or something. I don't know anything about the Three Stooges, but I think they got it from Three Stooges. But yeah, it's even in some of the notes in the game, like if you look at the code, the source code, data miners have found like notation that the developers put in saying like, oh, this gives me the Shemp or something, like this bit of code. And then they ended up naming a boss Dr. Shemp.
This guy thinks he's so cool. You don't know what it's been like listening to him over and over. But I'll tell you one thing. He should watch his back.
He certainly should. A little hint there on how to... Oh, yikes. On how to defeat Dr. Shemp. Boom. He's armoured and he's big, so you can't flame his chest or charge him, but... Look, he's got no armour on his back. Ooh. Hey, Shemp. Anyway, so that's what you do. Preferably dodge him. And then he opens the next area. The boss fights in this game aren't so good. I mean, we'll admit it. Oh, yeah, I'm doing the wrong phase. I'm doing the third one. So this one, you just hit him from the back. It's the third one where he swings it around, which is what I was just trying to react to there. Oh. And that's it. That's Dr. Shemp done. Well, it's pretty much the end of the stream there. I'm gonna go and open this chest down here, and then I'm gonna round it out and go and watch Crash, which hopefully is good. And kind of just looks like Crash as we know it. Otherwise I'll be a real sad boy. There we go. It's Dr. Shemp done. There's only one dragon in each boss world. As a general rule, I think that's right. There we go, everyone. First try. Just a new Crash Bash, says NZL Matt. I mean, I don't know if that's a joke. I don't know if that's a spoiler. But it could have actually happened. They could have done a new Crash Bash. And if it is, I'm not even so averse to that if they do it very well. Crash Bash was alright. But it's called Crash 4, so it's, I think that's a joke. Good, we have finished Spyro the Dragon for today. I will save in the game. I don't know if the emulator is actually saving my stuff, but do an in-game save, and then I will save state, which hopefully will work for next time. We'll see, won't we? We will see. Free slot. Save it there. Yeah, there we go. Because otherwise, if I try and load slot 1 and it doesn't work, I'll be like, what? Why am I back in the Artisans? I noticed earlier when I... Crash Bash... Crash 4, Crash Bash 2. Yeah, that could be it. Good. Right, well, there's a new Quipscope to watch as well. Yeah, Ben has done... Talking of 3D platformers, Ben's done one on Battle for Bikini Bottom, which has just been remade, in fact, from the ground up. So go check that out. That's a... that is a Quipscope available on the channel right now. But if you've not watched the new Crash trailer that's apparently out, do what I'm doing. Go watch it. I don't know if we've got a release date yet for the new Crash game, but in the lead up to it, I'll probably play Crash 1 to 3 on stream to refresh people's memories. It looks like it leads on pretty much straight away from Crash 3, because on the Crash Bandicoot Twitter, they put a video out earlier, yesterday or the day before, of the guy in the Crash suit. I don't like the Crash suit, that marketing thing that they do with the big Crash suit. But anyway, he's playing the game on his PlayStation, and it's the actual end scene of Crash 3. And then his TV smashes, and it like goes all timey-wimey. So it might well be a very, very linear thing. So I'll give us a refresh of the original Crash trilogy nearer the time. Good. Well, there we go. That's the first little chunk of Spyro. We'll do some more. And when I've done with this, I'll probably play Spyro 2 as well on PS1 on Mondays. But we'll see where we go with that. Badly Drawn Shark. Finishing the stream off with a Twitch Prime subscription. You've been subscribed for 15 months. That's a long time. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. And there we go. Enjoy Crash, everyone, if you're off to watch that. And hope you had a good stream. Catch you on Wednesday for my next solo stream. Ben's streaming tomorrow. And of course, join Blaze It stream on Thursday. And it's a sleepover stream as well. So that's going to be great. Very good. Well, catch you all later. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye.